Welcome back, everybody, and you'll see me walking towards the BarelyCuda because, well, for those of you who watched the last little video where we took this thing out and did a little bit of a Skull Garage style street dyno, more or less, which that's a great channel if you haven't ever watched them. But as per usual here at Scott's Speed Shop, that little street drive didn't really break anything, but it finished breaking something. And see, Dad's hard at work because I was in the office still, and I preemptively marked that header kind of where I knew where we needed to clearance it because it needs clearance work there and it needs clearance work back there. Oh, you're bleeding, Dad.
Yeah, the firewall had a sharp edge on it. I got rid of that.
Oh, there's some sharp edges right there still from that. This car, of course, this is the BarelyCuda for anybody who doesn't know this car, our blown big block 440 race car that Dad and I went and kind of one of those purchases where it was like, we really didn't need this thing, but it was just screamed to us and it was another shell of a project, and yeah, we made this our own. Motorhome engine Dad had. We got some metal block heads because we thought the iron heads were junk, and they weren't junk, but we swapped them out. 671 blower, Dean's blowers up in, I think, Washington. They hooked us up with everything for the drive and everything. Great people to work with, and this thing runs pretty daggone good. We only got to make like half of a pass at No Name Nationals last year. And that's just because, well, we had so much fun talking to other people, and racing this wasn't the priority. Just getting this there was actually the goal. But you know, trying to be the fastest guys and most competitive guys was never the task. It was just getting it there and shaking it down and feeling it out. And I think we definitely accomplished that. And this year I plan on definitely maybe trying to not make a fool of myself, because we got the timing all figured out. As you saw in the last little drive, this thing is hooking and booking and making rounds. And unfortunately, what happened, though, is this tire is just a little bit close and it rubs on these tubes. And, well, this tube right here had already been broken, brazed back on years ago. And, well, now it's, well, it's detached completely. So the goal here is to get that fixed. And we're also going to finally put probably some kind of support strap on the bottom of this header, because it's got these zoomies we added on, and well, it's a lot of weight down there, and fender wells are notorious for cracking up here because, well, it's just so much weight right there and the engine moving and flexing, and once you get out to the collector, it's moving around so much that it's all just really working on that flange right there. So we're going to get this thing pulled off. We're going to clearance it properly instead of just these kind of hits. We're going to heat up the tubes and make these a little more flowy. Like I said, I marked these with paint so we keep track of where these need to be clearanced. And then down in there, that's the one we really got to work on, is this tube right here in particular. This is one of those great things. If you're going to have a race car and you don't have inner fenders, this is one of those things where it's really nice, because fender well headers are pretty easy to get off. Basically use ratchet and extension and all the swivels in the world, and it doesn't take much effort. Alrighty, so the one nice thing about fender wells too is how easy they are to get at. Now, we added these zoomy collectors, which makes it a little bit tricky, so the tires got to be turned X amount, but this thing will basically come right on out. Look at that. Big block header install. That's, if only more headers installed that easily and uninstalled.
Ain't no kidding.
Look at that. Look at the carnage on that. How mutilated that thing is. It's, I don't know, that's pretty bad. That's really bad. The whole underside looks like it's completely made of.
That's gonna take a welder man delight.
Yeah. I was almost thinking about, if this was a little straighter, you know, we could just almost sleeve it. Just get rid of this chunk of pipe here.
Oh.
Because it's, you can see here, it's already been cracked and kind of boogered.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what happens when you try to like MIG weld over brazing or try to TIG it. It just doesn't work anywhere near the vicinity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you can look at just the quality of weld here, and the brazing was an old repair, and then someone tried to go on top of it, and that just doesn't work.
It's ferrous versus non-ferrous metal.
Yeah.
And the non-ferrous wins all the time.
Alrighty, so the first step in any repair, of course, is cleaning. So you can see how filthy that is. There's no way to weld that, just that junk. So we're gonna get all this cleaned up, get all this, I don't even know what all this oil and just mixture of contaminants. And also that's where the tire was rubbing, which I wanted to show you guys that because that's kind of neat how almost polished it's gotten. So that gives us a good mark of where to clearance. And we also got this tube we need to touch up a little bit right here and just slightly right here. But we're gonna get these things cleaned up. We'll get that fixed, and then we'll worry about taking care of the denting and other things we need to do to this header to get it to actually fit that BarelyCuda just a little bit better. But yep, get her fixed. Alrighty, so when it rains, it pours as usual. There's the brass, and there's a little chunk of, well, repair that just kind of all fell out. And, well, I'm just going to be honest with viewers here. Anytime you deal with old fender well headers, there's a big old chunk of brass right there. These things, if you got one crack, let me tell you. My other pair I just fixed, if there's one crack, there's more, trust me. Cleaning that guy up, I knew that one was completely destroyed. As you can see, this thing's been broken and repaired a number of different times. Inside of there is just nothing but weld splatter, BB, just nasty gumball. Oof. And yeah, that guy, I was cleaning it, and guess what? It's cracked all along the bottom and all around that side and towards the top. So all of these other tubes have been reinforced on the outside because they're normally supposed to just be welded on the inside, as you can see. But yeah, it's a common thing with fender well headers to crack right there at the flange. So, especially when you got that much weight hanging out there. And I mean, that's before we added the Zoomy collector, which adds a little bit, but I mean, it's still a lot of weight hanging out there swinging around. And when you think about everything up at that flange right there, yeah. So the idea is more or less probably just gonna amputate that section of pipe because it's basically just complete garbage, and maybe think about forming our own little square piece to fit in there and just fixing this thing more or less. It doesn't have to be that perfectly swoopy tube. It could be more or less that straight piece going all the way in there. And
have we got a sacrificial header, like a Chevy header or something we could cut a curve out of?
We'll have to go look. I bet you we do. Alrighty, well, yeah, Dad found it. I knew I had that Chevy header somewhere. It actually came from my good friend Bobby. I remember we cut that thing up because I think we were going to try and, I can't remember what the heck we were going to do with those. We were either going to do something with a VW or something with that, but it never happened. But yeah, that's a good donor section. A lot of good donor pieces.
Yeah, the tubes are smaller.
Well, it's a Chevy. It'd be okay. That one tube could probably live to be a little bit smaller than the rest. All right, so Dad is back from the parts house, and he scored because these were on sale for what, $3?
Yeah.
So Dad grabbed 2 of them. We're gonna send them back to get the rest of these because we got this little sucker here that would work, and the idea is probably clamp it down and it'll fit up inside of this tube and do all that McGubbins. But this is basically already the right shape and everything. I mean, it's just do a little trimming out here, and that's a good find, Dad. $3 fix.
I think I should have bought all 4 of them.
Well, don't worry. You just got one more trip to the parts store in your future.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and get this thing chopped off. We just wanted to show you kind of the envisionment there. This should work out. We'll just have to grind the chrome off and all that nonsense, but that should work. Here's to it. Yeah, I think we need to definitely come in here and take care of all this where they had that old weld, because this flange is actually much further over on this back side. You see that?
You'll have to hit the hog for that.
Yeah, take care of this little ledge here because that's just wasted port volume technically, and that piece, once we square that chrome piece off, that should work out pretty good. Daggone.
Yeah, that's some old brass or something. It's hard.
Yeah, I can't tell if that's just how hot the steel is, or if that's still brass up in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You gotta grind that flush.
Yeah, it's got to be gone. Of course, we're still hanging out on this edge here. We kind of got to get rid of a lot of that nasty, because I bet you there's a lot of brass hidden up inside of that. Yeah. Well, we'll get her fixed.
All that brass is gone.
Yeah, we can't weld the brass, that's for sure. So we'll just keep cleaning on this until we see pure white steel. Here we are with the fine tuning work. A little bit at a time, we'll eventually get her clean. It looks like, Dad, you just uncovered the original mark right there. You're just saying. I wonder if these headers are old enough that maybe they were actually brazed together.
Well, it sure is infused with brass.
I know, it goes really deep in there. I'm almost wondering if these things actually aren't maybe brazed together. That'd be kind of, that's neat, but that would kind of also suck. Cause
Well, I don't know, this out here ain't brass, is it?
I don't know. We'd have to clean those up. I actually haven't cleaned those. Those are all just how we got them.
That big old, that's that crack that goes all the way around.
Yeah, that actually does kind of look like, I don't know. We might want to clean that. That might suck. We may have to abandon ship on these headers and go to the chrome ones. We may not go to no name with the zoomies, but
That is brass.
oh crap. These things are assembled with oh, they are built. Oh.
Let's learn how to braze real quick.
Well, we only ever brazed like once or twice in both of our lifetimes, and neither of them were that great. I don't. Well, what do you think? Do we go to the chrome headers, or do we?
Well, we could weld this. I mean, we could probably get all that out of there.
Yeah.
What we do about this over here?
Yeah, because that's basically, this one's cracked basically almost all the way around. So, these are the conundrums that kind of happen like right in the middle of a video that can kind of almost derail it completely.
I got some bronze welding rod, but I never was very fond of it.
Yeah, it's not something we're particularly great
It'd
at.
probably go right through this shit.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're gonna tune back once we recoup here, figure out what we're gonna do.
Cool.
So we've basically exposed the brass and then the inner layer of steel here, so we're just gonna basically grind out the remaining bits of brass until it's gone and we got nothing but steel on this, so we can weld it. So here's to that. Feels pretty smooth across there.
Yeah.
Huh, there we go. All right. So we got that mostly cleaned up, and you can still see the remnants of the old flange there, but it's still welded on the back side, so there's not much we can do about that one. Just get it cleaned up and smoothed up, so now we can work on maybe getting that pipe fitted. And how you feeling about it, Dad?
That could be all right.
Yeah. Alrighty, so we got everything prepared. We got this piece cut and kind of loosely fitted to how we're going to like it. So now we're going to get this tube, try to pry it enough to where this kind of magic will happen. Alrighty, with a little bit of persuasion from Dad with the pry bar and me with the hammer, we got that piece kind of set on there. And yeah, we just made one little adjustment cut down here using my eyeballs, thinking that maybe our cut was going to be off. And Well, I just screwed us on that one. But that's okay, because we'll be able to trim it on this side and we'll get it on there. And yeah, ain't no big deal. We'll get this tube fixed. A belt sander would be really handy at this time, but we don't have that. But we have a chop saw. That's the next best thing, so. I think we have eliminated the lip we needed to get rid of.
Little high spots.
Yep. I think that'll work out.
Nice flat, just like being at the machine shop.
All right, let's go test fit that. See that? Didn't I tell you guys we'd figure this crap out? So, we got that piece basically fitted. Yeah, it's a little large. It's got a gap in the back. We'll fix that, but fitting on there pretty good. Now I just kind of wish the rest of these headers looked like that. Well, like that section right there. Not like the rest of this. Just, you know, really pretty. That'd be cool. So, we'll see about getting that attached and burned in and fused together so that way this hopefully won't be an issue. And then we can actually get to the caveman activities once we get done with this engineering bullcrap. Because this stuff is boring. I'm ready to get the fire back out and get a bigger hammer than that one. As you did. Alrighty, so we got this tube tack welded on the other side and we just tacked it here so that way I can start actually taking the little sledgehammer here and beating it all the way around so that way we don't have very many gaps. And this is how I like to do things, because use the welder basically as the heater, heat the tube up, and then you just slowly work your way around and eventually it'll fit. And then we'll worry about this side at a later date. We'll just get her tacked up and that way we can form it and make it actually where it'll seal up. Alrighty, well, we got the chrome piece here actually welded on all the way around, and now we get to work on this end here. So yeah, it's gonna be better, way better than it ever was. And we're still scheming on what to do with this guy. Honestly, we may just let that be an exhaust leak. It's not like you're gonna be able to hear it, and it's really not hurting anything. I mean, it's so small, I don't think it's even gonna make any noise. So
Looks like, now if this is solid, it might help support that.
yeah, that's true. This will be way stronger in the back now than it ever was before. So yeah, I feel good about this. So we'll get her finished up and we'll show you guys how it looks when we're done.
This is what people don't see.
This is how car guys get shit done.
Father and son working together.
Oh, there we go. That's actually gonna work. Alrighty, well, we got this fender well zoomy back out here, and this guy is all fixed up, as you can see. This guy just got done cleaning for Dad, because Dad's gonna try his hand at brazing, because that's what this yellow material is, or that gold looking color. That is brass. It's on all these outside ports, while on the inside is actual welding, like MIG welding. So yeah, someone really knew what they were doing, but since it's cracked and basically around this edge in here, Dad's gonna just try his hand and see if we can maybe remelt that and put a new layer there just to help keep that strong. And yeah, so here's to Dad being super cool as usual. You did a daggone good job. I just got done wire brushing that a little bit, just cleaning it up, and I think your braze job is pretty fantastic.
Kind of hard because that metal's like 3/8, 5/16.
Yeah.
And the tube's like paper thin. So you got to get the two to be about the same temperature at the same time.
Yeah, I bet that was fun. That was probably one of those good times just to go work on other projects in the shop while you did your magic. Well, so now all we got to do is do some clearance work. So a little more torch work, so that's going to be on. We got to probably go ahead and just take care of where the master cylinder is while there's still that primer there. And then we know we got to touch this tube primarily where that tire was rubbing that actually broke this brazing that we fixed now. So we don't want to have a tire rubbing on a hot header tube. So all right, so that's what's next. Alrighty, well, that's a freshly dented and, well, even though we used the torch when we were trying to be careful and make things look nice, yeah, we still caved these things in like it looks like crap. But I'm showing you anyways because I don't care, because it just needed to be lower so that way it was away from the master cylinder, and then the area we clearanced for the tire, that turned out pretty good, I think. We got a good arc of the tire basically beat into the headers here, so we really shouldn't have an issue there. And these were 2-inch primaries, and it's just a motorhome 440 with a 671 running about 6 pounds of boost, so it should be fine. And plus, most of these tubes, instead of just caving in, they actually squished out. Like this one's more triangular now. I was noticing that, so we didn't really lose a lot of flow, and plus Engine Masters proved it doesn't really matter. So, and Dad and I were just sitting here talking about, well, I ground these down a little bit. Do we go ahead and paint this one? What do we do? If we paint this one, that means we got to take the other one off and paint it. And yes, Dad's beautiful braze work. That is beautiful. So the ultimate decision here is, so we don't cover up Dad's braze work here, is we're not going to paint these.
It's on the bottom.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we also have that chrome tube right there, and you have always told me you don't paint aluminum and you don't paint
Chrome.
Exactly. So yeah, we can't paint that. And we all got to be honest here. This would look really stupid if we painted everything white minus these, because these are chrome. We're not painting those. And we had just this one stub of chrome sticking out. So I mean,
gotta say, bop, bop-a-loo, bop.
Chrome.
Chrome.
Oh, that's a job well done. All we need to do is get that some gun put back on the Cuda, Dad.
All right, that's tomorrow.
That sounds like an Anna job. What you got there in your hand, Anna?
The cover I made you.
Uh-oh. Well, we're going to have to show that off in another video. So anybody wants to know what that cover fits, that's all sparkly and gold. And
You sure it's not a hat?
Yes, I'm sure it's not a hat.
are you sure it's not a hat?
I mean, you could put it in as a hat, but I have safety pins in this, so you don't want to do that right now.
Oh, yeah, we probably don't want to do that. All right, well.
Maybe a cod piece.
That's a big cod.
It don't belong to the Scott people. Who'd you make that for, Shaquille O'Neal? Good God.
That's a big cod.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cod.
Yeah, that's all right. That's enough of that cod. All right. Back to the BarelyCuda tomorrow. What are you doing, Athena? Why are you interrupting the BarelyCuda header fix video? What are you doing? What do you got to say to all the folks in YouTube land, Athena? That's just adorable. I'm going to say, oh, a teeny weeny loves all you folks. So, like, share, subscribe just for this little girl right here, the run of the litter. Now let's go show you what Dad's been working on the old BarelyCuda. Alrighty, well, welcome back, guys and gals. Hope you enjoyed that little cute piece with Athena. There's the old Polara. We are waiting to do stuff on that. Just wanted to show you guys my awesome dad, because I was sitting in there working on stuff at my desk, and I was kind of hoping You know, it'd be really cool if my awesome dad just went ahead and pulled this other header off and just went ahead and clearanced it for us. Yep, it's already off. Best damn pit crew right there. I already got that header marked out where we need to do the clearancing work. And Dad actually went ahead and started cleaning on this header. And we're gonna take care of this old goo gobble MIG weld that was attempted to be gone over on that brazing, because this one's brazed just like the other tube is. So there's a little crack right there, and it's just preventative maintenance. So Dad's gonna take care of that for us, and once all this is taken care of, then we can maybe think about getting these things wrapped up and put them back on the old race car so we can be ready for Sykeston. Says you did.
That'd be one way, just wrap them all.
Alrighty, well, we are here with Dad, and the header is basically all done. And watch me burn myself. So we got this side clearanced, and we did a hell of a lot better job as not destroying these things as bad as the, well, I say that, these two are still kind of wrinkly, but we got good clearance here. Dad marked those out like we showed you, and they turned out pretty good. And look at that braze. I'd say look at that scald, but it's not really a scald, it's a, yeah, kind of a melt. That looks pretty good, Dad. That'll be better than what it was.
Just like TIG welding.
Yeah.
Only manual TIG welding.
Well, it's basically, well, TIG welding is basically just like oxyacetylene welding. You're just heating it up, and instead of you're using gas versus electricity is the only difference. So.
Molding it in, yeah.
Yeah.
Right at that perfect point, right before it blows through.
Yeah. Whole lot of craftsmanship right there. So that's cool as shit, Dad. So.
Probably stronger than well.
The only other thing we got to worry about now is, so the reason why those were cracking, if people don't know, is fender well headers, especially these, there's a lot of weight hanging out on this end, even when it's just a collector, and we added all that, so it's heavier. So they're notorious for cracking up by the flanges, so it's good to have them braced up and supported down here at this end, which we always planned on doing, but then we got, well, we had to move, and there was so much other stuff, and well, it's a miracle even the CUDA made it to the No Name Nationals the last year, and even made half of a pass. So that's one of
the motor's solid, so it shouldn't torque too much sideways.
Yeah, the engine's not moving.
So if they're worried about the engine torquing, then we can't mount them solid, but we can mount them solid.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, we are officially in the car bay where we keep the old BarelyCuda. And we got both the fender well headers here cleaned up, ready to rock and roll. And I think we have decided to maybe or maybe not coat these or paint these or do something with them instead of leaving them raw steel, because, well, ultimately most coatings don't last. But we've been testing out a couple of different paints that are on the market, and I think I may have found something that works out pretty good. And it's what I got on my W2 TTIs over there, but they haven't been running yet. But I got another engine I've been doing tests on in the barn that's been experimenting with that same paint. It's done pretty good, so I think the old CUDA's gonna get something. Oop. And yeah, it's gonna be a surprise more or less. At least you're gonna see it here soon in a hyperlapse. So here's to the color that we all picked out real fast, and I think it's gonna really play well with everything. And then she made a really killer second one that was even better than this one. This one turned out really good. Right now we're using it just to cover the air cleaners, which, anybody's curious, those are Jegs branded filters, and I put those on here for my little test drive in the BarelyCuda. If you guys missed that video, you really need to go watch it, because you want to see this thing ripping around instead of just sitting static. That's the video for you. Otherwise, just watch the rest of my videos where this thing just sits around and revs up. But anyways, I just set those on this engine for that little drive, and they didn't fall off. And I actually really like the way they look on there with the blower and everything, so they're staying. So originally those were for the old Duster, but yeah, we got another pair. So anyways, enough rambling. Let's protect these things. Booyah. All right, let's go paint them. Of course, we're gonna be putting the old headers into the paint barn, more or less. So a little badger bug rolling action for you. A little sneak peek for everybody. If you haven't watched any of the badger bug videos, that is probably one of Dad's favorite little toys he got for himself. And yeah, we dig it. So into the barn we take these fender well headers that I just got done wiping down, and well, now we're gonna paint them. Yeah, so I just want to let everybody know I want to thank all of you who actually got on the little community post I put up today as I filmed this video on this fine Sunday with my father. Dad, you're not in frame, but it's okay. We're getting ready to hang these headers up. I want to thank everybody who put in their input as far as what color you would paint these fender well zooming headers for the BarelyCuda. Thank you guys for actually getting on there and telling me what you're going to do, because, well, I liked all your opinions, but ain't the color I'm going to paint them. Because we're going like way out there. You guys are going to see here in a bit, so get ready to throw stuff at your computer screens, because I'm sure someone's going to hate this, so get ready. You're about to hate it.
Because you know it's doing your motor good.
Instead of leaving them as rusty piles of crap, we made them look like they're permanently rusty.
You know it's doing your motor good.
Good old Grandpa Noah. Alrighty, well, this is probably the one and only time these things are ever going to look this nice, but we just wanted something on there, and I was envisioning more of a gold color, but that is all they had at the hardware store that was in high heat, so yeah, that should be good enough. And we got the master cylinder side header right here, I believe. Yep. So this is Dad's side. So, and then the driver's side header's here. So whichever one has paint on it the longest, we now have a kind of a gauge on there. Watch, yours is gonna stay beautiful forever, even though it's got the master cylinder and all that other stuff. Yours will stay beautiful for forever, and mine's gonna return right back to how it looked right before this clip was filmed.
One thing about it, you can't hardly tell the difference between rust and that color paint.
I know. So anybody who says we just wasted $40 on paint that we only used 2 cans of, actually, that paint went a long ways. And so it's only 20 bucks. So I mean, that 20 bucks was a small investment just to make these things look good for 5 minutes.
They are old hooker headers, yeah. They need to be took care of.
They do. They got a lot of history. Ah, the whole stainless tag.
We're going to wrap this up for sure with header.
Yes.
And right in here, this will be wrapped because that master cylinder's laying right here.
Yeah, until we get all the stuff to do, like what Mopar Jeff said to do with his master cylinder relocation stuff. I still got to do that, but that's not going to happen in time for No Name probably. So we're just going to heat wrap those areas right there where we beat the crap out of that. And that should help the master cylinder. Alrighty, well, here's your little update. I just wanted to show you what I got done with the old fender well zooming for the BarelyCuda. So you could see we went a little overkill, and I tried to make this stuff look as good as possible, but yeah, we got actual header wrap from the underside on those 2 tubes, and then we got that tube by itself, and then we also got this double thick heat blanket, and that's wrapped around this tube and this tube. So there's 2 of these separately, and they're overlapping right here, which is primarily where the master cylinder sits. So we should be good on keeping some of the heat down until we get a little bit extra time to get the master cylinder relocated, which I know we could probably have it done in the same time it's taking me to wrap all this crap up, but you know what? This is the way we like to go. So whether or not you like this color or not, or you like my wrap job or not, it doesn't matter. All that matters is as long as this paint lasts more than 35 seconds. That's all I care about. And it's just one more layer to protect them from, you know, just turning to absolute crap. Plus, they already kind of almost have a rust look, so once they get rusty, you won't be able to tell. See, like that pair over there? Can't tell the difference, right? See? 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 All right, BarelyCuda. Let's get you back together once and for all. Make you look cool again. Well, alrighty then. So, headers are back on the BarelyCuda. We left off the old heat shield, which probably never did much, but maybe helped, but in favor of the heat blankets. And I also realized that this guy probably should have been more in that area, but oh well, to keep the heat from over here radiating that way. So, that's probably actually going to work out pretty good. And Dad and I both agree, we don't care what anybody thinks. If anybody hates this header paint color, we like this. And to quote my good friend Tom Roseman, that looks bitch. We do have one little issue with that side over there where we kind of beat in the headers. We didn't beat them like this side where we kind of beat them out flat and out that way. That side we were kind of built like a cave more or less for the tire to live in. And yeah, the tire doesn't live in that cave. It wants to live actually outside of that cave. So we need to actually clearance that tube again, but luckily this paint is still fresh, and that red RTV has to dry up a little bit before we run this thing, so we're going to beat that tube a little bit more. Minor adjustments, right, Dad?
Race car stuff.
Race car stuff.
Top secret.
The good thing is, though, all the times that Dad's actually been heating and beating on these, the paint's actually held up until here recently. So, I mean, when you get that tube glowing bright red, I don't think there's a paint in this world that'll hold up. Which, by the way, viewers, say hi to Brian at Dust Devil Garage. He's in our Discord hanging out with me.
Hello, viewers.
Alright, so that's what we're doing on the Cuda. We're going to let that tube cool down, make sure the tire clears this time. Alrighty, so we got that side all repainted, so we're going to let that paint dry, then we'll get the tire on here, make sure it clears, and it should clear. That's just the way we do things. We just go ahead and paint it, and then we'll work on it.
Check the other side. I'm going to paint that. I warmed it up. You know, it was touching just on a very, very, very little.
Alright, so we'll touch up that side and be ready to rock and roll here in a bit. Both the headers are done. They're clearanced. The only thing we got to probably do is just test run them one more time. That paint should be dry now, so we'll do that now that it's that time to settle and we've worked the suspension up and down. So I'm going to crawl my big butt in there, and we'll have Dad stand here with the camera one last time and make sure it clears there, and then we're gonna fire this bad boy up for you. All right, batteries are on, so we're gonna run it until we start to see them smoking. And we're gonna try and hopefully keep these things alive.
I think that'll be okay.
Might have got a little. No, that's about perfect.
I figured it went a little longer than that.
No, I like to get it right where it just starts to do this.
Uh-huh.
Because, well, just my experience with doing these is if you let it get much further than this, it gets too hot. Yeah. And you want to get this stuff to where it'll kind of just get a little bit molten and then cure on. The more times you do this, the better it'll be. And the more chances, like Jezebel, technically her headers are kind of rusty with the white, but the white is still there and it doesn't just immediately come off. Whereas like on my 73 Satellite, we just ran it and never like heat cycled the paint. That's why it's all completely burned off. So.
Well, I noticed that this Zoomy wasn't flopping around like it used to. It just stayed put.
Oh, that's good.
Maybe welding and all them broken pipes together might have helped.
Well, this one I didn't weld. You just brazed this one.
Yeah, it had one crack.
Yeah, we brazed that one, but this one has the completely new tube, and it's got some braze touch up. It sounds pretty good, so.
Yeah, I want to bend up that one brake line a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, try on there.
Yeah, we need to do that for sure. Let's see. That is definitely like, this is hot, but you can touch it.
Yeah.
But like, I wouldn't actually want to touch the tube. So yeah, I think that's going to help a lot.
Oh, yeah. Whenever you're ready, Sono.
Go ahead. Heat cycling number 2. All right, so if you guys ever want to know, well, Jed, or Dad, if you want to ask Dad, how do I know when my paint's getting to that point where it's about to burn off? Okay, so what you do is you got to be really dumb or really brave, and you take like your fingernail and you kind of just loosely touch the tube. Don't touch it with your finger because you'll burn yourself more than likely. And you'll feel the heat through your fingernail, but you'll kind of feel the tube feel kind of gummy. And that is where you are shooting for to let this stuff start curing. You let it get too far past that gummy stage before it cures on, you're more than likely just going to burn it completely off. Alrighty, we are at heat cycle, what is this, 4 technically? We ran it for quite a bit. You can see the color starting to slowly leach out of that kind of copper color they used to be. They're getting paler towards the tubes. And our hooker logo, which I polished up, not quite turning yellow yet. But yeah, we're definitely getting everything baked on, that's for sure. The last cycle, you couldn't put your hand on the last piece of heat shield right there. On the first one, you still could. It was hot, it was uncomfortable, but now you can't touch it, and I ain't even gonna try now, so. I can smell them cooking now. And it might also be that header wrap really smoking too, because the instruction said if you don't spray it with their silicone stuff, it'll turn white. And I'm like, I don't care if it turns white. It's the header paint we're here to protect. Little bit by little bit, this is what it takes to get that stuff to stay on there. You guys want to know what it takes? This is what it takes. Nice and cool out here in the breeze. If that'd be a job well done on the old Cuda, I'd say she's just about ready. At night, you can just forget about the cooling temperature on your old race car. We'll let some of that fuel get evacuated out. Alright, what you didn't get to see is that tote was actually more that angle, actually. And now it's up against the duster. Alright, Cuda, you did a good job. It's thoroughly fumigated in here, and, well, we still have paint on our headers, so that's a dang good thing. I'm happy to see that. Alrighty, so, first off, I want to thank everybody who sat down in the live chat with me as we edited this video, because originally I intended on having us taking, you know, going out, taking out this car and hammering it down some more. And, well, since we're only 2 weeks away from No Name Nationals, I figured if you want to see that, you either got to wait for the video, if we take any video, or you should actually be at No Name Nationals, because if you're not, you're missing out. But if it's too far, I understand, but it's a great event. So instead of that, we're going to give credit to one of our great friends here on YouTube, Gary Schaller, who has Gary Paints as a channel. You've seen us unbox his stuff before, and he is blessed with another painting, and you know what it is? It's got something to do with there we go. Yep. Alrighty. As always, we have an excellent pack job by Mr. Gary. Oh. It's just like Christmas. Alright. We have unsheathed it partially. Now we're going to use our tire to kind of use the baseline here so we can get the next layer open. I think we're just about here to the good stuff. Oh no! Packing peanuts, my nemesis. Alright, oh, I just dropped the razor blade down there. Ooh. We might need that razor blade. Wow!
It's a little upside down, sir.
You think it is?
It looks
Is it
good.
upside down?
Yeah.
So, like I said, if you want to see the BarelyCuda in action,
Oh, that looks awesome.
yeah, you need to be at No Name Nationals to see this thing doing its thing. Dad, you want to get that paper off top first? Yeah. So, you can go to Gary's channel and watch him paint BarelyCuda, paint Jezebel, paint the Yard Dart, and when he did Jezebel, he also did Dad's Charger. And then he's got a whole bunch of other people's cars he's done, other YouTube guys. And if you guys want a sweet painting of your car, he doesn't charge that much, and he'll paint whatever picture of your car you want, and he'll put whatever background to it you want. Like, you don't have to have, like, this is not a photo of my car at the starting line at No Name Nationals at Jeffers Motorsports Park. This is just a photo of my car, and this is his imagination, and it's amazing.
It is.
So Gary paints it, everybody. Go give him some love. And of course, thank you for watching the video. So as always, look forward to seeing the next one. As always, Dad, what do we got to say? Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh yeah, just for the viewers, this coating did hold up, by the way. All the extra testing and stuff that you guys didn't get to see, yep, it held up. So on to Sykeston. Bye-bye.